Are you kidding me right now? Oh, you magnetized little Oh, no, 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 no. Not like this. Not like this. Oh, shit. Welcome back to State of Decay 2, where the difficulty is higher than a half-price babysitter, and as you could probably tell by the intro, constant negative curveballs have well and truly caused havoc through Drucker County. If you missed the first 2 episodes of this series, you might want to check them out, they'll be linked in the description, but if not, whack a like, subscribe, and let's get into the chaos. The base is rocking and rolling, hydroponics for food so we don't have to eat our enemies, trade depot to increase our influence in the region, infirmary for recovery, workshop for fixing, exploding and burning, and the drive-in theatre to make sure everyone is maxing out their skills appropriately. Although at the moment we only have 3 outpost slots, so my next project will be collecting building materials to upgrade our command centre. The second thing I'm going to be looking out for is a network signal antenna so we can get an extra 2 outpost slots, but they can only be found from a very specific network wandering trader. So failing that, a signal antenna will do the job temporarily, giving us an additional 1 outpost slot. But all of that means absolutely nothing if I don't recruit a computers expert to get the command center upgraded. Luckily, where there's a will, there's a way. After taking down the black art, I have 2,589 prestige, so we need less than 200 to be able to afford an additional red talon. And if we recruit a hacker, we get the knowledge of computers while also getting another additional outpost slot. And just when you need it, outlaws passing through. One of the few curveballs that will actually reward you with prestige for overcoming it. All we gotta do is find and kill the crisper draws and we're set to go. What kind of terrible name is that, by the way? Doesn't exactly sound too hostile to me. But first, as I've already completed one of my 2 bounties, I decide to drive to my local plague territory, climb an abandoned car and start popping headshots with my 22 caliber revolver. Perfectly timing the final Z with my final round. Then we need a juggernaut with a rifle, especially difficult when we have a gargantuan mutation active. Luckily I've never met a problem that can't be solved with my arse. Obviously I still need to be careful as we don't want to accidentally finish him off with my arse, we just want to drop him to his knees. Way too many innuendos, my brain's gonna fucking explode. But this is a tactic I've now mastered, there's no way I can mess it up. Son of a bitch!
At least we get the 150 prestige as a consolation prize. And he did apparently have a World War II style machine gun tucked away in his prison pocket, so can't complain. With that we head to our double outpost safe zone as Red Talon tell us exactly where the outlaws are hiding. We collect our 2 completed bounties and replace them with 4 materials to be collected and 4 gas cans to be used, before making our way to the crisper draws. I park up nearby but crucially leave myself with plenty of cover, which means when I approach I'm completely undetected. Nobody even knows I exist. That is with the exception of this woman, who can apparently see around corners. Well, she won't be seeing much of anything with 9556 rounds buried into her corpse. That does mean all 6 of her remaining friends know my exact location and take chase. Like, seriously, have you ever seen an entire enclave just get up off their fat asses and take off on a revenge mission?
Ha 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 ha! I killed one of them, and now I run away like a coward!
I can honestly say I've never seen hostiles come this far away from their base before. I managed to down the first to catch me, but I can't finish the job as a zombie tries to consume my flesh. I then hide behind a car to regain stamina and manage to finish off a second, before continuing my retreat to put as many obstacles between us as possible. A third falls into my trap, but I can't quite finish the job as a stray bullet takes my health to dangerous levels, and I've already used up all of my painkillers to get this far. How the hell are they still chasing me? Luckily my outpost is nearby and I managed to heal, but still they managed to chase me down. Look boys, 4-on-1 might look great on your internet search history, but I'm not looking to get penetrated by anything right now. And that's when they managed to pull off a shot that would make Lee Harvey Oswald proud.
Oh god, fucking hell.
How the bloody hell did they pull that off? He would have had to have bent around a corner.
Come on son, get up, get up, get up, get up. I got an idea. Is it dirty? Yes. Is it cheating?
If you can't tell, that hesitation means it's unethical at best. Either way, I'm sure you'll let me know in the comment section. In my defense, there is no cheating in survival. You do what you've got to do in order to stay breathing, and that's exactly what I do. By crouch camping at the ladder, there's only one way up, so we can take them out without putting ourselves at risk.
Oh my god. Nope, nope, they can't hit me. They can't hit me from there. Oh god, they're flanking.
They're not flanking. Words are escaping me.
To be fair, they chose their opportunity to pounce pretty well. They just couldn't match Angler's aura. The final hostile then makes a move, but you know how this goes by now. Sweet dreams, Outlaws, thanks for the prestige. With that, it's time for Ken to take over. Certainly our most relatable teammate. And after the deaths of the Gargantua Juggernaut and the Outlaws, we now have enough prestige to call in a Red Talon.
Rendezvous with Verdun from Red Talon. Welcome him to the community. Oh wait, don't... Oh, piss off! Piss the fuck off! Are you kidding me right now?
Unfortunately not, sweetheart. And this time is even worse as the heart's miasma is toxic, meaning it'll slowly remove our health when we're inside its radius. At least this variant won't increase its territory. For now, we'll be able to ignore it given its location, which will give us time to make sure we're properly prepared. Part of that preparation is recruiting a new Red Talon. Unfortunately for us, Verdun isn't the hacker we're looking for, but by exiting to the main menu and jumping back in, we can reset the spawn and eventually find a character with the required skill. Please meet Alfonso Crawford, or Crawfish for short. This chubby funster likes to occasionally waste food. Luckily, we have an abundance of diverse dishes at home. Mexican, Chinese, Indian, we've butchered them all. But not English. You only have to look at the average Englishman to know he tastes like cigarette ash and bad decisions. Now we have the knowledge of computers and an additional outpost slot. Perfect. With him on his way back to base, I take the opportunity to loot the immediate area, collecting builder materials, food, meds, and a couple of toolkits. Up the road slightly is a Bronto gas station where I can find some fuel and an additional sack of building supplies. We drop the supplies at base, which completes a bounty, which unlocks a restored Echo S4 SMG. That's when I realise there's an Echo Lab trader on the map, and they have a chance of selling one thing that will be very useful as we make a move to survive in 100 days. It's also a good opportunity to earn some extra influence from the redundant shite we've been collecting. So with our trunk and pocket stuffed tighter than a Juggernaut's wedding dress, we make our way to visit Lisa. Unfortunately for us, it seems that silly bitch couldn't fit an advanced biochemistry station in her back pocket. Motherfucker. Still, at least I get to make some serious wonga. And we get our hands on a repeating crossbow, bloater grenades and scent block. Next I realise the noisy neighbours need plague samples, so I head over there immediately as I'm still looking for one more member to add to the team, and making them friendly is one step away from allied. Unfortunately it doesn't go my way.
Now we're friends, right? I got 100 influence for that. Good. Now we're up to 400. Vicky, I just risked my life to give you zombie flesh. You get some from fucking outside, son. You know what I mean? We're not friends? Why are we not friends, Vicky? Vicky, I'm devastated. I'm not gonna lie to you, Vicky. I thought we could have been BFFs.
Moving on, I claim the bootleg fuel operation next door as an outpost, and start looting the area for all of its natural resources. Well, I say natural as scraps and dinosaur gunk, that is. What can I say? It's the natural loot goblin in me. I see a container, I've got to search it. That way I can hoard all the wealth like a real dragon. Or a Thrag, if you will. From here, we head slightly south to the military trauma tent where I find ammo and meds. Then even further south around the airfield I find 2 sacks of builder materials. Sadly that's still not enough to upgrade the command center. Literally only 2 materials short, for fuck's sake. And look, I know what you're thinking. You have a trade depot. Why not just call in a materials trader? We take over as Kayla, who's a hygiene specialist, giving us an extra 50 plague resistance to the entire community. Usually I wouldn't want to risk such a valuable member, but she has the potential to have an amazing hero bonus if we can increase her standing high enough. She starts off her reign scrapping a load of weapons we'll never use, which has been massively boosted by the fact the salvage furnace is now installed to the workshop. This is massively important as we can use scraps as a substitute for influence, so the more scraps we have, the richer we are. And the richer we are, the easier it is to control and brainwash the population. Kayla then checks out a mysterious broadcast coming from a cell tower in the north, and as we arrive, Cleo sends a supply drop around the corner. Before collecting it, she takes down a screamer while crouched with a crossbow, which completes a bounty unlocking the restored Echo S2 rifle. Originally I had planned on killing the screamer in the siege site next door, but as there was one outside, I decided to ignore the siege site altogether, as farming sites is another good way to get prestige. Long story short, defending a siege gets you prestige. Before we collect the Cleo drop, I get into a rear-ended fight with a crackhead who repeatedly tries to rip me out to feast on my kidneys. And I'm ashamed to admit he slightly gets the better of my vehicle, so it's time to retreat.
Right, looks like we're leaving it home, chat. We're leaving it home.
And that retreat didn't go anywhere near as smooth as I'd have liked. Oh, and to make things worse, the feral has come back with a vengeance. Luckily, with the team watching my back from a defensive position, we can eliminate the feral before Kayla becomes a trending LinkedIn hashtag. She collects the Clio drop, then swaps her crossbow for a rifle, as there's once again another big boy floating around our rear entrance. The plan is simple: lead him to the base so the community can passively shoot at the big brute, then we can deliver the final blow with our rifle, finally completing this bounty. Juggernauts always attract shitty little minions to help soften a bit's meal, and usually I'd get around this with fire. Sadly, however, it appears I've forgotten about a thick-skinned curveball, which makes the zombies resistant to fire.
But that actually allows the fire to spread a bit better.
Obviously, that is only if you have the stamina to outrun the fiery bastards. Even the Juggernaut becomes engulfed in flames, even if it'll do no damage. After putting all of my sidearm ammo into the beast, I swap to my rifle and actually get him to stumble. But am I actually going to be able to finish the job with less than 2 mag loads remaining? Predictably, all that loud gunfire has attracted the locals, so it's time to get burning again. Probably wasn't the smartest idea, as we then lead them directly into our base.
Okay, yeah, I've just led a horde of flaming Zeds into base. Not my smartest play, not gonna lie to you, chat.
With the community finally coming to my aid, I quickly grab some ammo from my pistol from the supply locker. You wouldn't imagine 10 rounds would make a difference, but surprisingly that's enough to get him to stumble again, then he drops to his knees and we can finish the brute off, finally completing the bounty.
Got it! Yeah, baby!
All that effort means we can find out what Kayla's hero bonus would be. Sadly, it's nothing to write home about, but it's not time to give Kayla a rest, as we have to immediately defend against a siege. A siege with a feral and a Juggernaut. Not another one. I managed to quickly swap out my loadout, then defend against the first wave of a Screamer, Bloater and 5 Zeds. Easy stuff.
Oh, you magnetized little prick!
I take out the 3 chasing me, followed by the Screamer, then ignite the horde of resistant to fire Zeds. Proper smart move that. Mollies take out 2 bloaters, and I pull off a long-range shot on a Screamer. The next wave was supposed to contain the Juggernaut, but all that come at me was a solo feral, which I handle with precision. I then toss a thermite grenade to ignite the next wave. Yes, they are still fire resistant, but suddenly the goal is shifted to just clearing out the remaining Zeds. I guess the Juggernaut seen what I did to his cousin and decided he didn't want no smoke. I take out 2 bloaters hanging around a wave to the north. I can then retreat back to behind the safety of my chain link gate and await for the hordes to burn or burst in. Well, that's when the siege completes. I gain 300 prestige, even if there's armoured Zeds still floating around our front entrance.
Well, the Juggernaut disappeared somehow. I'm okay with that.
I then use the trade depot to call in an ammo trader, even though I still need building materials to upgrade the command center. I immediately make back the 125 influence it cost to call her by selling her scraps and shite. I then purchase all of her ammo supplies before making back 500 of my influence by selling even more scraps. Then it's time for our new hacker to take center stage. And Crawfish isn't the kind of hacker that sits behind a desk stuffing Cheetos down his throat like they have the cure to diabetes, while smashing away at a keyboard saying, "I'm in." No, Crawfish likes to get his hands dirty, so his first mission is a plague art in a medical centre to the north.
Oh crap, I didn't bring a heavy weapon. It'd be a waste of fuel now, wouldn't it?
Well, we wouldn't want to waste precious dinosaur gunk on needless trips, so let's get beaten like 14-year-old Jay that just discovered his penis for the first time. What can I say? I was a late bloomer. When my stamina drops, it's time to get hot, as the only stamina relief I brought was snacks. But hey, at least we completed the first phase. With everything still burning, I drop a frag to get what I thought was a double phase, then this happened.
Oh shit!
I do inevitably have to deal with a crackhead, but once it's done I can loot the heart and the building. I drop the supplies off at base, finally find some building materials, collect my 3 completed bounties, take down an infestation in my outpost, and finally upgrade the command center, before getting caught short in the smokestorm curveball.
At least it's daytime. In daytime I can still fairly see, as long as I'm not driving.
To wait out this pain in my arse, I start taking off more bounties, such as shotgun and ferals, and killing Zeds with my pistol. I also loot a restaurant I had previously missed. Then as night draws in, I try to loot the hospital on the edge of town. But that's not as easy as you'd expect, seeing as we have an elevated senses curveball active, meaning Zeds have better eyesight and hearing. This causes some pretty big problems, especially as I didn't bring anything other than snacks to refill my stamina. Thankfully, as I kill off the last of the Zeds, Smokestorm comes to an end. Although it does get immediately replaced with radio silence. And to find out which cell tower is causing the problem, I've got to speak to Bradley. In the meantime, did you know the Sassa Regional Hospital is the only guaranteed spot to collect a plague cure in the entire game? Yes, you can find them really on traders and the landmark spot in Trumbull, as well as a few missions, but this is the only guaranteed spot for looting. After a Crawfish's long nighttime battle, we swap out to our leader, Sag Miller. She meets up with a mysterious stranger by the name of Oscar. Oscar wants to loot a nearby van that was abandoned due to a local juggernaut and is looking for some backup to loot it. I agree to help, as I secretly like to help out the less fortunate. I'm kinda like Mr. Beast like that, except I I've never hired a known paedophile. With the Juggernaut nowhere to be seen, I can loot the van for some Zedi, Zedrenaline, and a shiny new crossbow, which Oscar thinks he can call dibs on.
We only got this gear because I showed up. I think I should keep it.
That's horse shit and you know it.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do about it, Oscar? Come back here and say it to my face. Slag.
With hindsight, that seems a bit harsh. To be honest, I really don't know about the sexual promiscuousness of Oscar. I then head back to base to speak to Bradley, who tells me the location of the dodgy cell tower. Luckily, it's not in plague territory, so it's pretty simple to capture, just a screamer and a feral to deal with, which also completes a bounty for us. With the tower secure, we get rid of radio silence, then Sag Miller sets her sights on a plague cart to the south of base. And as you'd expect, at this point it goes down without incident. With that heart dead, I get a fuel sack which I can give to the noisy neighbours, which turns them allied, meaning I can recruit someone for free. I decide to recruit Jason, a fairly uninteresting man, but his blank slot means I can shape him to my community's needs. We give him a lift home, then I realise he's a massive Debbie Downer, and to be honest, I probably should have guessed that by just looking at his haircut. Luckily, his destiny wasn't one of longevity, as our base is then attacked by not one, but two gargantuan juggernauts that just so happen to be wandering past. More heavily armed than an American 4th grader, I deal with the first solo, which ends the curveball, giving me 150 prestige. Then the entire team deal with the second. But truthfully, the only reason we could take it down as easily as we did was because Jason was taking the full brunt of its attack. So while I am credited with the final kill, it's Jason who deserves all the praise.
No! You Jason! Oh, man, I've only just recruited him. But hey, I got a couple of good, decent guns, actually.
But in misery, we often find salvation, as I then get exactly what I was hoping for, a wandering network barter agent. Different from Alexis Carter from Trumbull Valley, this trader is guaranteed to have a network signal antenna to give us the 2 additional outpost slots we're looking for. Unfortunately, there's one thing I've forgotten to mention.
Oh, fuck.
I guess Oscar has been chatting shit about the van incident, as vicious rumours means everything is much more expensive. That means the signal antenna is over twice the price, and even though I do have the influence, I just can't justify spending that much. So regrettably, I leave it behind, setting my sights on a different goal. Instead, I head to the site of our plague cart massacre from the last time we had fuel in the plague active. And with the extra slot from the upgraded command centre, I turn the Matilda Police Department into an upgraded landmine protected outpost. Then spend the rest of the night looting every container in the vicinity, even delivering another dramatic reading in the process.
November tasks. A. Finish editing FL turnover. B. Prep next FL SA. B. New lines for sickness. What kind of lines are they writing, you know what I mean? C. Listen to Oct VO for changes. C. Add line names for starter doc. C. Populate XN doc with tags. It's not a bloody clue, boys. Not a bloody clue.
What can I say? The third is never as good as the original. I guess that means the Academy Award no longer has my name on it. Unfortunately, we do have to cut our looting spree short as we have another siege to defend against. A little bit of advice: anytime you have hordes raining down at your base, make sure you're packing mollies, as every horde usually has a bloater, which is basically a walk-in claymore. Similarly to anyone raising their right arm to salute a fascist regime, they're just asking to have a Molotov thrown at them. To finish off the siege as I'm out of mollies, I decide to rear-end all the freaks in the area, until the rear end gets a nasty bit of inflammation. While it's not ideal to have to use another toolkit, the vehicle's explosion does finish off the siege, even if it doesn't finish off the Juggernaut. But it's not too long before that big brute goes down as well. Unfortunately, we then end up with an under-the-weather curveball, which makes our aim shite and our drug use less effective. Well, luckily, Kayla used to be BFFs with a drug dealer and knows exactly where to acquire some medical supplies to put an end to this. Even if to avoid the Blackheart's fuel draining miasma, she has to get a bit creative with her choice of route.
We're off-roading now, boys. Oh, that's some serious off-roading.
Luckily for us, across the road from the fast food restaurant that was used as a drop point, there was also an urgent care that we can collect an extra sack of meds from, as well as a sanitizing machine. Can anyone remember when the enclave next door sent us all the way across the map to collect one of those? And the lazy pricks didn't think to have a look in the doctor's office 2 doors down? What a bunch of bellends. We find the prescription drugs in the manager's back office of the Swine and Bovine. Then Kayla decides to take down the plague cart in the area, which is located in a little house slightly to the north. She can complete the first phase just as a feral arrives, so that means it's time for everything to get hot. After heading outside, I try to do the door trick to stun the feral at the neighbour's house, but unfortunately that doesn't work out. So it looks like we're doing this the old-fashioned way, by putting more lead into the beast than a boomer's plumbing. But with no further issues, we can take down the plague heart and even collect a third sack of medical supplies for our efforts. Sadly though, there is another curveball that's giving us issues now. But before we get to that, I drop off the medical supplies at an outpost to get rid of under the weather. Typically we now need to do exactly the same thing, but we're building materials to make our base much more efficient again. For example, if I want to turn my additional medical supplies into bulk plague cure, it's going to cost me 12 meds instead of the usual 8. This needs to go in order to maximise our profits. Surprisingly, the spare parts trader I visit doesn't sell any, but I will be taking that signal antenna, thank you very much. Now here's the problem. Most of the map has already been heavily looted, especially for building materials. But there is one spot that I know for certain has some. That plague heart has a sack, as well as the abandoned truck bed next door. This time it's Ken who takes off on the dangerous mission. And I know what you're thinking. Jay, you have the trade depot. Why not just call in a building materials trader to get rid of the curveball? So first I stop by our police station and loot a nearby water storage tank, which happens to have one of the 3 materials we need. We then get to the site of the half-finished houses on the morning of day 15, with next to nothing left in the tank. Shit, how the hell am I going to transport all these building materials all the way across the map? Well, it's a good thing Melia's rotting corpse is still here with a can of diesel just sitting in her back pocket.
Oh, Melia comes in clutch right at the end.
Thank fuck past me kept my characters loaded heavy. We then get materials from the abandoned truck bed, materials from the dead plague heart, and even more materials from the building the heart was located in. And thanks to the signal antenna we purchased earlier being installed to the command center, we can immediately claim an outpost to drop off everything other than the sacks that we've looted. To drop off the building materials, we head back to the police station, which has been upgraded to level 2. After we've dropped off the 3 sacks, that puts an end to the curveball. But with fatigue setting in, it's time for Sag Miller to take center stage, with just 2 plague hearts standing between us and victory. Obviously one of those just so happens to be a black heart, although I think it makes more sense to leave that till the end. For now, the heart slightly north in the small bungalow is my target, just praying the level 3 infestation next door doesn't get in the way. We arrive and park up a safe distance away, but unfortunately we have one of the worst variations of thick-skinned imaginable. Resistant to headshots, resistant to melee, and resistant to fire. But how the fuck am I supposed to kill the undead? Wish upon a shooting star? With no Zeds in the area at the time of entry, it's pretty simple to claim the first phase of the plague heart, but then I make a mistake by dropping a molly on fire-resistant Zeds. To make matters worse, I also get bit, taking even more damage, because we're on bloody fire. And that's when the penny drops.
I didn't bring any painkillers. I didn't bring any painkillers!
So not only are all the Zeds resistant to pretty much anything I can do, I've lost 2/3 of my health almost immediately and I'm not able to heal. Fuck! To make things worse, we get another gargantuan juggernaut mutation, meaning that infestation next door might be about to get even spicier. That gargantuan mutation must be the most common curveball I've had so far. The prestige from dealing with those fat fucks are keeping my kids fed and clothed. Well, technically I don't have kids, but that's besides the point. With the second phase taken care of, a feral chases me down, but it doesn't matter as a flaming Zed runs into the heart, ending the threat for good. I take down the feral a safe distance from the chaos, then loop back around to collect the heart's loot. Never have I been more grateful to see a bottle of painkillers. After that, it's time to discover the weakness of the black heart, so I pay a visit to the scientists. However, they're currently dealing with a pretty large horde, as well as a level 2 infestation next door. That means ferals and a gargantua juggernaut. Mix that with a thick-skinned curveball, and I don't think I can keep them alive long enough to find out what the weakness to the black heart is. Instead, I head to the location of one of our outposts in Santa Maya. Once I've fully healed, I start loading up for the fight against the black heart. I might not know its weakness yet, but smoke bombs, bloater grenades, and energy drinks are certainly gonna come in handy. That's when I make a crucial mistake. Yes, I completed my final bounty, but before I get the chance to drop a second load of loot into my trunk, a feral arrives to feast upon my liver. And typically, it's never gonna be just one plague feral.
Oh god. Woo, baby!
A molly can slow them down, as who likes to be engulfed in flames? Them stop, dropping and rolling gives me a chance to take them down from distance.
Oh, well, that could have got interesting.
So let's review our final loadout going into the fight with the Black Heart. Admittedly, I don't know its weakness yet, but you can't go wrong with what we've brought along. High capacity Stormbreaker for the ferals, with a silenced revolver as backup. 5 cures, as you can never be too safe. Mollies are self-explanatory. Pipe bombs for that extra kick. The only stimulant I own to keep my lungs working. Energy drinks as a backup. And snacks for the backup of the backup. Weak painkillers to slowly regain my health as fast as the Black Heart's toxic miasma can drain it.
helmet, and scent block to keep me close to invisible from the undead. In the trunk I have bloater grenades and flares to light them, as well as smoke bombs if I need to be shielded. Backup painkillers for if the fight goes on for too long, and you can't have too much stamina relief. So can we do it? Smash the final heart in Drucker, or will we become simply another statistic? A life claimed too soon by the Blood Plague's fiercest ally. We get back to the scientists, and luckily the horde they were fighting is no longer present. But I still need to eliminate the level 2 infestation next door, although for some reason there's only screamers present. I have no idea why, but you shouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth. I then have to defend the scientists against a different horde, which thankfully doesn't contain any freaks that I'd need to deal with loudly. This turns out to be a great way to collect the black heart samples we need to discover the weakness, as I once again forgot to bring my load with me. With 5 samples collected, I give them to the scientists, and they tell me the weakness is explosives. Well, luckily I have just the thing. Even though the heart will drain my fuel, I decide the territory is small enough that I'll be able to drive to my destination, as I want an easy access to refill my supplies when I inevitably run dry. It's also cool to realise I didn't lose any health from the toxic miasma when in the vehicle. Now, however, it's dropping quicker than Tesla's stock price. Let's destroy this fucker.
Scent blocked. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's grab these and them, and now let's toss a flare, and fingers crossed. Right, let's just hold out, and shit. There we go. Right, that's 2 phases I think we've done. Oh shit. Right. I think we've done, was that 2 or 3 phases, chat? Weirdly, I should have brought more explosives. Great. Oh, shit. Oh, God. Feral. Oh, fuck off. Poor feral scum. Right, let's take these. We might have to do a single retreat, just because I'm low on health right now. And explosives. Oh, shit! Yeah, baby! Holy shit!
This time the Blackheart's loot is much better than the previous, and ideally I turn this place into an outpost to drop off as much of that loot as possible. There's just one problem, a Juggernaut sniffing around my back entrance. A Juggernaut that can apparently see through scent block.
Oh my god. Yeah, fair enough.
Well, we get prestige for taking down these shits, so we might as well profit from the fight. There's just one problem, a triple pack of crackhead shows up just as my scent block wears out.
Oh god. You know what? Scent block again. Yeah, it's wasteful.
Well, if now's not the time to use an extra bottle of scent block, there's simply no right time ever.
Oh shit. Oh god.
Using my revolver, I managed to eliminate the first and remove the armor of the second. That's when I discover I've used my last round at the worst possible moment.
Oh shit.
The Juggernaut charges as I'm immobilized in a feral's jaw.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Luckily, Sagmira is simply built different. She avoids another deadly charge before whipping out the Stormbreaker to eliminate the second feral. She then manages to stun the third, but can't finish the job as the Juggernaut wants to take us to Pound Town. But after another roly-poly to get us distance...
Oh, baby!
Now we need to focus our gunfire on the big boy. He stumbles, but it's not enough to put him down for good. And with my ammo supply running painfully low and the fight leading the Juggernaut away, I can slip back to the value wagon the Blackheart resided in, losing the trail of the Juggernaut in the process. And after abandoning our infested corner pharmacy, I turn the shop into an outpost which allows me to drop off all the incredible loot we've gathered. But don't think I'm letting that Juggernaut off with a warning. Creating an outpost meant I could collect something a little bit extra from our supply locker. The 12-round grenade launcher we purchased from the mysterious trader. 4 rounds is enough to send him to his knees and we can finish off the brute, collecting another 150 prestige in the process. As the legends that took down the Blood Plague in Drucker County, the next few days fly by in an instant. First, we save the denizens from a terrifying freak attack, which allows me to recruit a medicine man by the name of Bones to the community. Before the fall, he was an assistant principal who led a quiet life, who self-taught himself medicine by chopping up cadavers. I'm sure you'll fit right in. With our extensive training practice, his knowledge of medicine gets upgraded to pathology. Next, Crawfish eliminates 6 ransacking bastards in less than 6 seconds.
Then as the head honchos, we move into the biggest base in Drucker, the strip mall. Slowly the base starts to take shape over the next few days. Meanwhile, Crawfish's lust for blood grows as he continues to eliminate any hostile that visits Drucker. This time it was outlaws passing through, and we get rewarded with prestige for our efforts. We make an ongoing effort, going from building to building, looting container after container after container. Eventually the entirety of Drucker County has been looted dry, and with all the resources in our possession, we are the most powerful, we are the most influential. Because of this, we are often the first port of call when conflict arises. Dodgy bastards who had murdered someone's friend, we are the ones to deal with it, even if the rewards were non-existent.
Wait, what? No, get back here. Babs, we just spilled blood together. No!
We meet up with a second Echo Labs trader, and this time manage to get a hold of the advanced biochem station. We initiate a trade triangle between 3 other enclaves so capitalism shall live on. Sadly, no amount of capitalism in the world shall save us from another gargantuan juggernaut when he comes knocking at our base. Even with the entire team loaded up to their eyeballs, we couldn't save everybody. As Hag Miller survives hit after hit, it's our new pathologist Bones that contracts blood plague. And even though I'm able to check him into the infirmary to keep him alive, once I've delivered the final blow to the juggernaut, I realise he wasn't the only one who contracted blood plague. How the fuck can this happen twice in one video? RIP Slingshot, you surprised us all with how well a sewing expert could do at the end of the world. Putting that heartbreaking loss behind us, we have capitalism to fall back on. We meet up with 3 other surviving enclaves, and even though we have to fight off some dodgy fuckers looking to rob us, nothing was gonna stand in our way of becoming the most powerful bastards in Drucker. With them eliminated, we can restart our trade summit, and even though it was a massive success, truthfully there was nothing left in Drucker. We had scavenged everything there possibly could be, so in the end it was time to leave the place we had called home for 18 days. I guess you could say the state of Drucker had well and truly decayed. Trumbull Valley would be our next step, setting up base in the old Red Talon Daybreak fob. There was just one problem. Trumbull Valley had been overrun with 100 plague hearts.